Have you ever been stuck choosing between a database that's super reliable and one that can actually keep up with a worldwide audience? It's a classic headache for developers. Well, today we are diving deep into FaunaDB, a database that basically promised to solve that exact problem. Let's see how it holds up.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the core dilemma FaunaDB was built to fix. Then, we'll get into its really cool origin story, peek under the hood at how it's built, and then wrap things up by seeing where it fits in today's really competitive landscape.
Okay, let's set the scene. For the longest time, if you were building an app for users all over the world, you had to make this frustrating trade-off. Did you want your app to feel snappy and fast, or did you want to be 100% sure your data was always correct? It really felt like you just couldn't have it both ways. The fundamental question was, why not both? I mean, could you really build a database that could scale to serve millions of people everywhere and make sure every single piece of data was perfectly strictly consistent? It honestly seemed like a bit of a pipe dream.
You know, on one side of the ring, you had your traditional SQL databases. These things were like vaults. Your data was absolutely safe. But trying to make them work globally, oof, that was a huge challenge. And on the other side, you had the new kids on the block, the NoSQL databases. They could scale like crazy, but sometimes they were a little too relaxed about data consistency. So how do you solve a problem that pretty much the entire industry is struggling with? Well, as it turns out, the vision for a solution came from a place that knows a thing or two about operating at a massive scale: Twitter.
Right. So back in 2012, two engineers from Twitter, Evan Weaver and Matt Friels, had basically had enough of the constant operational pain. They'd lived through the scaling nightmares. So they set out to build their dream database, one with zero operational burden. The vision was ambitious but clear. Give developers the strong consistency of SQL and the global scale of NoSQL, all in one package that was actually a joy to use. So, how'd they actually pull this off? What's the secret sauce here?
Let's pop the hood and take a look at the core architectural pieces that make FaunaDB tick.
First off, this isn't just a document database or a relational database. It's both. It's a hybrid. So you get the flexibility of just dumping JSON documents in, which is great for all sorts of unstructured data. But you can also create traditional, rock-solid relationships and joins between them. It's kind of the best of both worlds. Next up, it's globally distributed right out of the box. This means your data isn't just sitting in one data center somewhere. It's replicated across multiple regions around the world, automatically. The result? Your users in London get the same low-latency experience as your users in Singapore. It's a huge deal for performance. And this part is absolutely crucial. It's ACID compliant. Now, if you're not familiar, just think of a bank transfer. You want the money to either move from account A to account B successfully, or you want the whole thing to fail completely. You never want the money to just disappear. That's the guarantee ACID gives you. It's the gold standard for data integrity. And the way you interact with all this power is through FQL, the Fauna Query Language. It's different. It's a functional language, which means you can compose these really powerful, precise queries to manipulate your data in some pretty incredible ways, all in a single request. It's definitely a step up from basic CRUD operations. Okay, so that's the architecture. But what about the features that developers actually use day to day? Let's talk about the superpowers that really make FaunaDB stand out. The number one superpower, and this is the one that really gets developers excited, is that it is truly serverless. And that means zero operations. You never have to think about provisioning capacity, scaling up, or patching servers. You just write your code. Fauna handles everything else behind the scenes. It's a game changer. And there's a lot more packed in. You get fine-grained security and access control built right in. There's a native GraphQL API, which front-end devs absolutely love. And one of my favorite features, temporal queries. This lets you literally query your data as it existed at any point in the past. It's like having a time machine for your database. Oh, and you only pay for what you actually use. So with a feature set like that, you can imagine developers are building some pretty cool stuff with it. But what exactly are the use cases? Let's see where FaunaDB is being used out there in the real world. We see it all over the place. It's powering e-commerce platforms, real-time dashboards for analytics, complex SaaS apps with lots of different tenants, and it has become a huge player in the Jamstack world. If you're using something like Next.js, Netlify, or Vercel, there's a good chance you've come across FaunaDB as the go-to database. The common theme here really is developers who just want to build their applications.
They want global scale, they want strong consistency, but they do not want the headache of managing database infrastructure. They want to focus on features, not servers.
Now, the database market is, to put it lightly, a war zone. You've got massive players like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. So where does FaunaDB fit in? How does it stand out from the crowd?
And this table really tells the story. Look at that very first row, global ACID. That's the key. While other major databases offer consistency, it's often limited to a single region. FaunaDB is one of the very few that provides that strict ACID level guarantee on a global scale. Combine that with its flexible model, and you've got something pretty unique.
So it really boils down to this three-part advantage. You get uncompromising data consistency everywhere on the planet. You get total flexibility in how you want to model your data. And you get a true serverless experience, meaning you never have to think about infrastructure. That combination is incredibly powerful.
You know, FaunaDB's whole approach really makes you think. It pushes this idea that maybe developers shouldn't have to be infrastructure experts. It poses this really interesting question. Is the future of building applications a future that's completely free from operations, or we can just focus on creating? It's a compelling thought.